What's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to the Good Talk podcast with Ryan Ventura. I'm obviously your host, Ryan Ventura, and we're back again for another episode. I hope you enjoyed the first one. And I have a very special guest, another good friend of mine. He's a very talented producer, very talented DJ, well known in the Vancouver scene. The one and only Hardstyle DJ, Jimmy Vu.
Hey, what's up, Ryan? Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you.
Feels good to be here.
I'm glad you're here, man. And, just to let everyone know, I'm on a diet because, I like to eat and I like to drink beer. But, Jimmy brought me a bag of chips because he knew I was hungry. But, he didn't know I was on a diet, but it's okay. And, I'm not going to be rude. I'm going to have, a few chips.
Fuck yeah.
But I won't eat the bag. I won't eat the whole thing. All right.
Those are my favorite, actually. I really like them.
I don't want to show the logo because, they're not paying me to eat these chips on this show. Here, have yourself some chips.
Oh, sure. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Jimmy. So, what have you been up to these days?
Dude, honestly, I've been really busy in the studio, man. I've just been working on a couple projects. I've got a few that I'm working on right now. One of them is a collab with a local producer, Elijah Payne.
Oh, nice.
He's from Richmond, and he just finished the course at Nimbus School of Recording Arts, and I've actually heard some of his work, and I was like, hey, this guy seems like a cool guy. We met one time at Harbor.
Nice.
And I was like, hey, would you be interested in doing a collab project? And
awesome.
After that, he came over to the studio, and actually we did a pretty good first session. I was like, okay, let's continue with this. So it's going to be we gave it a future house kind of feel.
Yeah, nice.
I'm usually a hardstyle guy. Hardstyle is what I first started off with. I love hardstyle. Everything about me is basically hardstyle. But, I think it's very important to be diverse as an artist, not be a prisoner of your own style.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, even for myself, I come from, hip-hop, urban music background, and, a lot of the way I dress, the way I talk, and everything like that is influenced by that culture and part of it. But, as I got older, I understood, how important it is to, as a man and as a person to have a diverse taste.
Of course.
If you, for example, if you work as a chef, if you keep cooking the same dish and you're absolutely amazing at cooking this certain dish, if you keep cooking it over and over again, you're going to be bored of that shit.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah, it's very good point.
You want to be able to make different dishes. You want to learn how to make cakes. You want to learn how to barbecue. You want to learn how to bake cookies and things like that, right?
Yeah, that's definitely, I agree with that 100%, yeah.
Nice. So, Jimmy, you and I, we've talked about this, many times, and, I've been friends with you for a few years now, actually.
Yeah.
What got you into, producing music and everything?
That's a very good question, Ryan. Actually, I started off as a DJ, and, I've had good success with it for the first few years that I started. I think I'm into it, my fourth year right now, DJing officially. And, I really enjoy it, and I feel like DJing is one thing, but making music is another art on its own. And I think that's pretty awesome. I was just DJing, and I'm just like, you know what? I think I need to expand myself more, because I really would like to learn how to make music and put tracks together and compose sounds and stuff like that. So, I just started about a year and a half ago in the studio. I'm just playing around with software and trying to make sounds and putting sounds together and stuff like that. And at first, it sounded really shitty, man. I was very discouraged in the beginning, but I didn't want to give up. I really enjoyed doing it, sitting in front of a computer, just hearing the same sounds over and over again and putting it together. And I was just like, you know what? I'm making progress here. I'm learning. I'm getting better. Every month I would have an improvement. I would learn something new. Yeah. So I felt like from there I could start something. And, I'm not saying I'm a pro or I'm good, but I'm at a beginner level, and I'm very happy with my progress.
And it just continues to grow, yeah?
Yeah, it's
awesome.
It's definitely growing a little, and I've been experimenting with a lot of different sounds, and I've been getting good response, and I have very good support, so I'm happy about that.
Awesome. So, every, person that's, learning how to do their craft, whether it be music or cooking or fighting or anything like that, they have someone that mentors them. Do you have, any mentors that help you out in the game?
I actually do have a mentor. I call him Sensei, actually. His name is DJ Lace. He's from Vancouver.
Yeah.
And he actually is the manager of the after hours club called Basement. It's located
the famous basement.
Yeah, basement after hours club, and it's located on 816 Granville Street, downtown. And I have a residency there. Actually, I play there every Friday, and I play a minimum of around 4 hours.
Nice.
So, since we're open till 7 in the morning, and we start at 12 a.m. Wow. So DJ Lace manages the club when I play, and every Saturday he actually plays a 7-hour set.
7 hours.
7 fucking hours, man, non-stop. I shit you not, man. This guy's been doing it for years. He's been DJing for over 30 years. So when I first attended the club a few years back, I was like, "Who is this man? He's pretty cool." And when I got to know him, I'm like, "Okay, he's giving me shivers and goosebumps and stuff like that." And he has his own studio downtown, and I've actually visited him in his studio, and he has actually taught me some, how to use hardware equipment, how to make sounds from scratch, drum machines, the 303, the 808, the 909, and so forth and so forth. Nice. And playing around with analog synthesizers and making cool sounds, man, from voltage, electricity, and
that's
shaping.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, making it from pure scratch, from nothing to something, and I think that's pretty cool. And DJ Lace is definitely someone I look up to.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that, man. Are you are you making any new tracks with Riley V? To those that don't know, Riley V is another well-known hardstyle DJ and producer in this town. Big shout out to Riley V.
Shout out to Riley V.
Triple V right here, right? Like I actually MC for quite a few sets for them. Whenever you guys need me, I help you guys out. Right?
Oh my god, dude! I love it when you MC for our sets, dude. Like the last one we did when we had you MC with our set, it was
DJ Thera
at Gorgamish, April 29th.
Yeah.
And that was awesome, man. That really pumped the crowd up. You're very good at doing your job. You have that powerful voice. Wait, what did DJ Thera call you again? He called you he gave you a nickname. He was like Master Caller or something.
Yeah, he's big shout out to DJ Thera as well. He called me the Master Caller. Shit, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it because I have a lot of respect for Mr. Thera, Mr. DJ Thera.
Peter.
Super talented producer, super awesome DJ, and super polite guy. I wish I got to hang out with you guys during that time. I missed the out on the boat on that, but yeah, man. Thanks for letting me MC for you,
dude. It's always a pleasure, man. And I think it's cool because we started off making a track together a couple months ago. Actually, it was me, Riley V, and yourself. We made a track called Fearless, and that's what really sparked my interest for you. I'm like, hey, he's got a very good voice. He calls introduce fighters and stuff like that in the ring. And I remember you bringing me to my first ever live MMA event, and I was like, okay, I gotta go support Ryan. And then when I heard you on the microphone, I was like, holy shit. This guy is like the local Bruce Buffer, Asian version.
I try. I'm my own man. I hope to be where he is one day, and I think that's possible, right? There's still lots of time. I'm almost 30 years old. He's in his mid 50s, I think. I'm not sure, but I hope to be on his level one day, just like you hope to be in the levels of people like Thera one day. You know, that's what we all strive for. We strive.
Definitely. That would be very nice. I'm still working at it. I'm still new. DJ Thera is so awesome, man. He is the most down-to-earth DJ I've ever met. To be honest with you. He has.
Totally.
I've got to know him on a personal level, and I had the opportunity to pick him up at the airport on my birthday. Actually, I just turned 25, and on that day, April 28th, I picked up DJ Thera from the airport, and we just hung out, man. I took him to his hotel. We checked in, and I was about to leave, and he was like, "Hey, man, please don't leave." I'm like, "You want me to stay?" He's like, "Yeah, I stay. Come up to my hotel room, hang out with me. It's your birthday." I'm like, "Oh, cool."
That's fucking dope.
Yeah, so I went up and he gave me his new album.
Yeah, great fucking album, The New Era, right? Is that what it's called, The New Era?
Yeah,
really good album.
Oh man, it is very, very artistic and creative. It has so many sounds in it, like symphony, orchestral sounds, and he has a very unique raw style kick.
Oh, I love it. It's very signature. I can't describe it. If any of you guys know who DJ Thera is, he has that signature fucking kick, that just hits you right to the core, Yeah.
It's
muffled almost.
Yeah.
I'm not a producer, so I don't know shit about the terminology, but it sounds muffled, but it just fucking hit you hard. Every time I hear it, like I just get pumped.
Massively and dirty compressed or something like that.
Yeah, I guess that would be the proper wording for it, right?
Yeah, I asked him some studio tips and stuff like that. He gave me some. Riley, though, he's learning very, very quickly. I met Riley actually a couple years back. It all started in around 2013. There was a DJ competition that Solid made. It was called the Basone DJ Contest. And there was a lot of local DJs competing, people posting up mixes, and there was a panel of judges and a voting system, and thankfully I was blessed with the first place. And after that I played at the Coliseum on the main stage, and played right before Kuhn, and then after Kuhn played, it was Wild Styles, then Noise Controllers, then the king at the time, Headhunters. So that year, it opened my eyes and it actually inspired me. I was like,
fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, I was like, this is all possible, and it gave me confidence, because before I was a little bit timid. I'm like, an Asian DJ, local, starting off. It was hard to get gigs at the time. It's DJs here now. The scene, this scene in Vancouver is so cutthroat. It's so competitive. You have your clubs, you have your event companies, and so forth and so forth. And if you are not a who's who, or you don't have the connections, it's hard to score gigs.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's like that with anything,
Yeah.
Like even like when I got into like ring announcing and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like it took me a while to get my shot. Like everyone in town, like I was like, for backstory, like before I ever did the Battlefield Fight League, which is like the premier MMA promotion in all of Canada. Like I was doing like a lot of smaller shows at smaller halls and everything like that. A lot of great people gave me my start. I guess I should big shout out to Master Song. He gave me like one of my first early starts in ring announcing. I used to do like all these events at I guess like raving and like fighting have something in common with the venue. What's that place called on Hastings? That venue? It's not the Korean Cultural Center. It's not the Waldorf. There's another one. They used to hold a lot of raves in here.
Was it
the
MLC?
the Maritime Labor Center?
Right.
Back in the early days, like they used to have all kinds of raves and everything at the Maritime Labor Center.
Oh yeah, I attended some. Yeah.
Oh, I know you did.
Definitely.
You've been around for a while, right?
A little bit.
But like the Maritime Labor Center, that's also the home of Muay Thai in Vancouver.
Really?
So like a lot of like the Muay Thai events that happen in the Maritime Labor Center, I was the ring announcer for many years.
Well, I did not know that. Right? That's pretty fucking sick, man.
So like that's where like the kind of tie-in with like the the raving events and like the fighting events come in, but like I don't know what I was trying to get at. Okay. This is what I was trying to get at. What I was trying to get at was like I didn't get my shot in the BFL like for years. Like they didn't give me my shot until like eventually like after years of harassing them on Twitter and on Facebook saying, hey, give me a shot, let me do your events. I finally got a shot, right? I didn't know anyone that could hook me up with that, but it was just persistence and everything. And, for anyone in any industry, like you really do need to know people.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Or else you have to work fucking harder than anyone else.
Yeah. Persistence is key, like you mentioned. And, we all see it, Ryan. You're constantly working hard. You're on social media. You're just like a machine, man. You just constantly work, and we gotta give you credit, man. Like you've actually worked very hard for it, and like I said, persistence is key. Like, I think if like I gave up, I wouldn't be where I am today. Not saying I am somebody huge, but locally, people do know me, and they're just like, "Oh, Jimmy,
dude." Like for you, like I have like a tremendous respect for what you do. Like even if I didn't know you personally and you weren't my friend, like I have a tremendous respect for you. Like no matter like for this guy, anywhere he goes, it doesn't matter if he's the opener or the closer. Like this guy packs the floor up. Like I remember. Do you remember when we did the Solid Christmas party?
Yeah.
All right. So like
the charity event.
Yeah, for the charity event.
Yeah.
Like we had a Solid Christmas party, and like there was a charity event, And like, you know, even like for like just a little bit, you played just a little bit. You packed the floor with everyone. Everyone there will support you. You know, you had your sister, you had your friends, you know, you had the Hardstyle Vancouver group. I was there. I was on the floor, man. I had to support you. Right? But it's like that for every event he does, open or close, whether it's at like some club on Granville or Harbor or a basement, like you're a floor filler, man. And like, you know,
thanks, man.
Like that's a testament to like, you know, the people that care about you and the people that support you.
Thanks, man. That means a lot, man. You know, when I first started off, I was thinking to myself, you know, what kind of DJ would I be if I wanted to be a DJ? You know, what kind of performer would I be? Because a lot of it has to do with stage presence and marketing and your support. You know, and you know, most of it is also track selection. You know, your mixing style, how you mix, what you play at the right time, and so forth and so forth. And you know. Also, one of the big things I notice is reading the crowd. You know, what the crowd wants, their body language. You know, what time is it? You know, just simple things like that. And I put it together in combination. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna test out this track right now, see how the crowd reacts, or I'll play this track because I know it's a banger and everyone will go crazy to it. But yeah, like you said, it's very crazy, the art of DJing. It's very, very unique, and I enjoy it, man. Like I truly enjoy it, whether it be a crowd of 100 people, you know, 2,000 people, 0 people. You know, I will do it because I truly enjoy it, and you know, there's some benefits that come with it. Yeah. So I just want to say, you know, many DJs think that DJing will get them something specific. You know, most DJs, or you know, some DJs actually, will be in it for, you know, they think it'll get them girls, or you know, it'll get them rich, or you know, it'll make them famous and whatnot. Those to me are, you know, bonuses. I think of them as bonuses. Sure, there are good things that come with being a DJ, but most of the time it's not so glamorous. You know, I do have my own struggles. There are some days where some gigs are so tough, I'm just like, oh, you know, like fuck, like okay, we're just gonna get through this, hang in there, you know. It's not so glamorous most of the time, but as long as you power through it, you stay persistent, you know, get paid for your job and move on. That's what I do, and I'm truly in it because I really enjoy doing it. And anything else that comes is I consider that a bonus.
Oh man, dude, I gotta stop and give you a fist pound. Like that's exactly the way I think. Like that's exactly the way I think. Like even like when I ring announce and stuff like that, like, you know, whether it's a crowd of like 2,000 people or it's a crowd of 15 people, I introduce every fighter as if it's a fight at Madison Square Garden or MGM Grand. I make it act like I'm introducing the fucking UFC champion of the world or the WBC champion of the world, man. Like to me, like because the interesting thing about local fighting, I guess in a way it's kind of like this with like local DJing too, is that like, you know, you kind of have to sell yourself because like no one, like the average person does not know, like with no disrespect, the average person does not know Jimmy Boo. Yeah. Right? The average person doesn't know so-and-so fighter in the cage. Yeah. So it's up to the job of like people who promote and people like myself who introduce fighters, or like, you know, if I hype you up, it's my job to like make you sound like the best fucking thing in the world.
Yeah, you do a very good job at it as well, you know?
Yeah. And like it makes like a huge difference. Like when we were at Gorgamesh for DJ Thera, like I mean, like, you know, I don't want to toot my own horn, but as soon as the mic started working, the fucking energy started going.
Yeah, man.
Right? I mean, the one small thing, like, you know, obviously, like I wish that there was like a, you know, bigger crowd for him, right? And a bigger crowd for Ross James, the guy that put on the show. He's super cool guy. What's up, Ross? Hello?
Ross James is honestly one of the nicest guys I know. He is from Australia, and every time I talk to him, I'm like, "How you doing, mate?" You know, I go into that Australian accent mode, and I'm just like, you know, make him feel at home because he's originally from Australia, and he's got connections over there, man. Like he's really into the hard dance scene, and he knows a few people over there. Totally. He came here, he's just like, you know what, this scene is awesome, but I want to, you know, bring other artists, maybe not too mainstream, but really powerful, moving artists like DJ Thera. And that was
great choice.
I think, my opinion, that was the best booking of the year. No disrespect to the other artists, but we needed to bring someone who was a veteran, you know, someone who wasn't really too mainstream. And, you know, he played such a crazy set, and having Riley and myself open for him, it was just such an honor. And having you MC on the mic and just pump the crowd. You're just like, who's fucking ready for some hardstyle? And I was like, oh my god, it's crazy, shit's crazy, man. Like,
there's nothing like an event.
Yeah,
like that,
using adrenaline rush, and that's what's so special about hardstyle. And our hardstyle scene here is growing. I'm not saying it's the biggest in the world because in Europe it's massive in Europe, but over here it's growing, and we have people like Ross James that's trying to promote Hardstyle Vancouver. We have the founder of Hardstyle Vancouver, Cody.
Yeah.
We gotta give much credit to Cody.
Yeah. Big shout out to Cody.
And Bailey Wong. And those type of people who dedicate their time and energy into promoting this way of life we call hardstyle.
Well, let's like turn it back a little bit. Let's turn the clock a little bit back. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, and I've told you this before, like, I didn't start going to raves until like 2000, like, it was solid NYE 2014. So I'm a baby. I'm a noob to this, right? Like, all this promoting stuff that I do, emceeing people's sets and whatever, this is all new to me. Like, I'm still new to this, and I'm learning things every day, and I'm enjoying it all the time. But like, you've been in this since you were a kid, right? You've been going to these events since you were young.
Actually, that is half correct. I've actually started attending massive events, or dance parties, raves, whatever you call it. Actually, my first massive I ever attended was Dunes, 2009. Yeah, so that was
Showtech, right?
That was Showtech. Showtech was playing, nice. And this is when the events would go on until like 7 or 8 in the morning.
The glory days.
The glory days, and I had no idea. Let me tell you this story, Ryan. This is crazy. In 2009, it was my first year out of high school. So at the time I was going to KPU, Kwantlen Polytechnic University, and I was pursuing my a degree in psychology. My bachelor's degree, and I was like, okay, well, not really driving at the time, so I had to take 3 buses because I was living in Guildford, and this university was located like in Newton, like further this way. So I had to take 3 buses there and back to attend school. And basically, during this time in 2009, Showtech, recently released a new album.
Analog Players in the Digital World.
You know that album, and I had it on my iPod, and I was like listening to it on the bus, every day, and I'm just like, this is so cool because the first hardstyle tracks I listened to were from Showtech, like Fuck the System and Colors of the Hardest Styles and
The World Is Mine.
Yeah, I listened to that track. I was like, this is sick. And then they came out with the music video, the Fighter one. And I was like,
the one with Andy Sauer.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, wow, I was blown away by this, right? And I was just like, okay, well, I'm addicted to this music. This is what got me into hardstyle. I've been listening to it on the bus there and back and forth. And here's the funny story, man.
Sure.
My mom, actually, she said to me one day on Halloween, Jimmy, do you want to go to a dance event with me or a party with me, And I was like, it's kind of weird, going out partying with my mom, but, sure. I'll bond with my mom for one night, right? I have nothing else to do rather than study. I'll just go out with her for the night. And she took me to this event. It was at the Pacific Coliseum in 2009, and I had no idea who was playing. She, got me the ticket, and, basically I didn't even read the ticket. I went in, and I didn't even realize there was a main stage. I didn't know. I went into the mirror room.
Nice.
And the first DJ I ever saw live was Tri Tufong. And he, at the time, I don't know, he was some DJ for Solid, a Vietnamese DJ, and I thought he was pretty cool. And, it was the first time I ever heard a DJ mix live, kind of like an EDM style. And then after that, I walked out and I was like, whoa, what's this? And, it was the main stage. And I shit you not, the main stage at this time, 2009, was located in the middle of the Coliseum.
Ooh.
It was I don't know, a stage. The stage was in the middle, and the crowd surrounded the DJ booth, and I thought that was pretty cool. And it's very different from what we have today, because today at the massive events, the stage setup is against one side of the building, one side of the arena, and the whole crowd is facing the DJ. But this is like a Coliseum setup, man. It was in the middle, and when 5 a.m. or whatever rolled by, they're like, "Give it up. This is Showtech." And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I've been listening to these guys on my iPod for so long throughout the year, and here they are, and I had no idea. I thought that event itself was synchronistic. And after that event, I was so thankful for my mom for bringing me there, and I was like, at that time, I was like, I want to become a DJ right after that event. And I was like, I want to, see what it's like to perform and have the crowd's energy and control people's moods and make people dance. And that's my story, man. My mom got me into raving.
Powerful shit. Yeah. Big shout out to your mom, man.
Yeah, big shout out to my mom. My number one supporter. I love my mom a lot, and she always supports me, man. She got me into EDM. It's kind of weird that you think about it, you know, like what?
No, that's
one of those Nammer parents that, you know, like
that's
rave till they're 60.
That's completely cool, man. Like, I mean, like if like there's like a lot of weird things in the world, but like if you can find like some sort of great bond and respect with your parents like that, then you know it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's dance music or basketball or baking cookies together. Like as long as you guys like find some sort of common bond and no one's hurting each other, who cares what it is?
Yeah, I mean it's just society saying, you know, that's kind of weird, but who are they to judge? You know,
there's such a negative connotation like with dance music and with these events, but like I honestly think a lot of it's changing.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of it's changing, and like a lot of people like may like disagree, like argue, and like maybe a lot of old vets may dislike that like dance music and the parties and everything are a lot more mainstream and popular. However, if you look at it in this token, like if it wasn't for that popularity, if it wasn't for it becoming sort of mainstream-ish, people like me wouldn't have ever got into it.
You make a good point, Ryan. You definitely make a good point.
And look at like me now. Like my horizons are like so open. Like I love everything. I love like hardstyle is one of my biggest passions. But I also like I love trance. I love trap music. I love like a lot of trance people don't like trap music, but I fucking love everything. Yeah. It doesn't matter what it is. Like if it sounds appealing to me, it doesn't matter the genre. I love it. Yeah. Right. I mean, like you look at groups like one of my personal favorites is Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because like whenever I hear Looney Tunes, it's almost like a reflection of like what I think of music, because like they mix in like trap elements, they do a lot of hardstyle elements, things like that. Mm-hmm. And like being from hip hop, like I can completely relate to those sort of trap elements and everything, right?
Oh, dude, I love their remix. What's it called? Love Me Till It Hurts or something like that.
Oh, that's Yellow Claw. That's Till It Hurts. Oh, yeah, the Till It Hurts remix.
Yeah, Yellow Claw. They remix Yellow Claw, and actually, I heard you met Yellow Claw too.
Actually, you know what? It's interesting. I'm actually like really I'm a huge fan of Yellow Claw, right? Like to me, like when I heard Yellow Claw like showed me what it's possible for like a hip hop head like me to get into electronic music. It's sort of like the gateway drug to electronic music, right? Because like all my friends and family, like most of us, like we all big urban music heads, all hip hop heads and everything. And like my thing is like, yo, you want to like see why I like this shit? Go fucking check out Yellow Claw, right? They combine like so many different elements of dance music into their shit, and that's why I fuck with it so much. But I guess it's story time. Since you're telling stories, I'll tell a story about Yellow Claw. So like I first randomly heard of Yellow Claw just through YouTube. Like I was just like looking through like, okay, what are some popular EDM songs? Because like with anyone else that doesn't know about new music, they look up generic EDM. Yeah. Right? Like I don't know about fucking trance music and all that shit. I just looked up EDM, and one of the biggest videos that like was on the YouTube queue was Shotgun by Yellow Claw. Right. And then like I started getting hooked. I started listening to all their songs and everything, and I started sharing it on my Facebook feed. Yeah. And many years before, I used to work for lowkick.com, which used to work with USA Today. Okay. So it's like an MMA website. Okay. And on Twitter, like I became like, pretty well known, like, amongst the fight scene, like, talking about fights and everything. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys that follows me on Twitter and Facebook, his name is Fabrice Dieters. Big shout out to Fabrice. Fabrice is like a good friend and coach of a lot of like famous Dutch fighters. Mm-hmm. He, in fact, like I think he manages Tyrone Spong. Do you know him?
Isn't he like one of the top kickboxers or something in the world?
Tyrone Spong is considered one of the greatest kickboxers in history. Okay. He's a member of the Black Zillions. The Black Zillions is like one of the biggest MMA camps in the world. They got guys like Rashad Evans, Vitor Belfort.
Alistair Overeem.
Alistair Overeem used to be part of them, not anymore.
Oh, okay.
And Stefan Struve, really talented Dutch guys. And like Fabrice randomly messaged me when he saw that I shared one of the videos. He's like, yo man, you listen to Yellow Claw? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I grew up with Busy, the hype man. Like, we live like, like we grew up together. We're best friends and everything. He's like, I didn't know people in Canada like Yellow Claw. I'm like, yeah, man, we fucking love Yellow Claw. And like, Actually, a lot of like local fighters like Yellow Claw too. Big shout out to Josh Johnsey, a huge Yellow Claw fan. Mm-hmm. Also, do you know Josh Johnsey?
I've heard of him. You mentioned him.
Yeah, Josh like lives like pretty close to where we're recording right now, and local guy, and he's considered one of the best kickboxers in the world today too. Nice. Right? He trains out in Holland, coincidentally with Andy Sauer, who was in the Showtech video. See, there's a lot of ties in the fight.
Oh my god, my mind's being blown.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
There's a lot of ties in the world of dance music and fighting, especially like, in Holland, right? In Holland, like some of the greatest like people like in dance music are from that country. Mm-hmm. Some of the greatest stand-up fighters in history are from that country. So there's a natural marriage and tie-in.
Yeah.
But anyways, I fucking love Yellow Claw. A few months like after I saw them in 2014, I went to go see them live at a show that they did. I can't name the club because I don't work for them, but it was a good fucking show. Yeah. Fabrice surprises me on Instagram. He's like, "Yo, Ryan, I got a surprise for you." And then like Busy comes out and like gives me like a shout out on Instagram, like on Instagram video. Mm-hmm. And like, I've been like an even hardcore fan since, man. Like, I managed to like, I got like Busy's personal number and we chat here and there.
Wow.
On WhatsApp, I congratulate him on his releases, and like whenever he's in town, like, we link up, say hello, have a chat, have a smoke. It's a good time.
Dude, that's fucking awesome, man. I think that's one of the best feelings in the world is getting to hang out with artists. Mm-hmm. That's like a really rare opportunity, but once you do and get to know them on a personal level, it's just more than the surface.
Yeah.
More than, the artists of what everyone sees. They're actually real people. Mm-hmm. And they have real feelings and emotions, and it's pretty cool, man. I've met a couple of artists myself, mostly hardstyle artists and stuff like that, and dude, it's like, it is honestly a blessing getting to spend time with certain artists and stuff like that. And, it's kind of why I do it, just get to meet artists, learn their style, learn what inspires them, and incorporate into my own music and so forth and so forth. Inspiration comes from a lot of sources, and I'm a huge MMA fan. And I think it's the fighters in Holland, coming out of Holland, are fucking incredible. The music coming from Holland is incredible. They have the best artists in the world.
Yeah.
Tiesto and Armin and so forth and so forth. I can go on for days.
Yeah, we could spend the entire show talking about all the best producers, DJs, fighters to ever come out of Holland. This is like an honorary like Dutch like show or something. I don't know, but like getting into like MMA and like since you brought it up and all that kind of stuff.
I love MMA,
like who I know you love MMA.
I love MMA, man.
I know who your favorite fighter is. You love Cain Velasquez.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's no secret. My favorite fighter is Cain Velasquez, and he's going to be back soon. I mean, he gets injured here and there, but that loss to Fabricio Verdum kind of broke my heart. I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of, shed a tear when he lost to Verdum. People at home are probably like, he deserved it. He didn't take it too seriously. Chain altitude for the Fabricio Verdum fight.
Cain didn't deserve that loss. He just that night he lost to the better man, and that's clear. But that doesn't make Cain like any less greater.
Fighter. He's a machine, man.
Yeah.
I love Cain. Let's talk about that fight specifically versus Verdum.
Mm-hmm.
It was an awesome fight. I thought Cain had a good start, but it felt like he had the better output of strikes. Like he had a nice volume of strikes, consistency of strikes. He controlled the octagon very well. He pushed Verdum up against the cage. Very nice clinch work. But Verdum seemed to do more damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was more efficient with his energy. He was patient. He let Velasquez wear himself out. And then, he did a couple strikes and Velasquez was busted open. He was bleeding. And I was like, what? What's going on, right?
And then, eventually he tapped him out.
Yeah.
Right.
Velasquez went for a takedown and he got... I don't know if it was such a good idea, but... I guess he was tired and he went to that auto wrestling mode because Velasquez is naturally a wrestler. And he went for the double leg takedown, I think, and he got choked. Guillotine, what was it? Guillotine choke?
Guillotine choke.
Guillotine choke by one of the best, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners in the world. World class, Fabricio Verdum, multi-black belt. That must have hurt a lot. That must have hurt his ego a lot. That must have hurt, his pride a lot.
Yeah.
Losing in Mexico.
Well, yeah, Fabricio did everything that you should do. He trained, there for months. Whereas Velasquez, he just got there weeks before the fight, which maybe was a mistake. But like, it's gonna be interesting to see how he does in his return. And if you think about it, like the heavyweight division, like even to this day is a fucking sliding door, man. Well, not sliding door, revolving door.
It is. There is no consistent champion.
No, and like look at what happened to like Verdum against Miocic. Like the Fabricio Verdum that became the champion, like he did the opposite of what you should do against Miocic. Like what the fuck was he doing? Like going forward, chasing him and all that stuff. It was frustrating.
That was very weird. Big props to Miocic though. That was
yeah, that was pretty sick.
He is definitely a real fighter. He's the real deal. Mm-hmm. You know, when we first saw him, my friends and I were watching him for the first time. In the UFC, we're like, that's Crow Cop with wrestling. That's what we said. We're like, that's Crow Cop with wrestling, and then he proved to be the complete fighter that he is. Very explosive knockout power, very durable as well, and. Big ups to that guy. He's a firefighter in real life. Like he works and he trains, and that guy is a cool guy. And I want to see Kane fight him. I want to see how that
that'd
goes.
be great, man. But he has a tall order against Travis Brown. I mean, Travis Brown is like super talented, and I can respect the level of talent that he has. But for some reason, he's like one of those guys that I just never could get behind. Like I don't know why. Like I don't know what it is in me. It's like I recognize that he's talented. I recognize that he beats like top guys and shit. But like I just could never be a fan of his. I don't know why.
Travis Brown is a very unique individual. He's very tall.
Yeah,
he's got a cool beard.
Yeah, he has a cool beard. Unorthodox front kicks, like the one that he used to knock out Overeem.
That was sick.
That was pretty dope. I'm a big Alistair Overeem fan, but I have to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Speaking of Alistair Overeem, like the crazy thing about Reem in his run at the UFC, like I mean, he's really smartened up and he's really done good for himself. I'm very happy that he's getting this chance to fight Miocic for the title, and I personally hope he takes it, right? But one of the things that, like, have you noticed, like, in most of the fights where Overeem has lost in the UFC, he was winning that fight until he decided to, like, drop his hands.
Yes, I agree with you completely. Like, he is usually winning the rounds.
Yeah.
He is a round winner for sure. We have a couple of those in UFC, actually. They win rounds, and they're a round winner, and until, like, they get caught or whatever. And, during the Travis Brown fight, Overeem did get caught. It was funny seeing him fall down like that and finish like that. I was like, what the fuck? Like I did not expect that come as a surprise. But
that was crazy.
As you know, anything can happen in mixed martial arts. It just takes one single blow and a certain amount of force, pressure to take someone down, no matter how big or small or quick they are. If they get caught, they get caught.
So how did you get into watching fights?
Actually, I started off with, fake wrestling, WWE. There's entertainment value in that.
Yeah. And
I first watched the UFC, it was, I forgot what it was. I went to, my hometown, Prince Rupert. Big shout out to Prince Rupert, BC. Some of my friends invited me to a party and had a pay-per-view UFC, and it was Rashad Evans versus Tito Ortiz, and
that's a good one.
That fight was like a tie.
Yeah,
I remember clearly that fight was a tie, and I was like, this is sick. This is sick. And then I started watching the UFC more slowly, and as it evolved from UFC 100 to now headed towards UFC 200, I am a huge fan. Like I have a couple of favorite fighters. I really enjoyed some eras of fighting. There's some dominant fighters in UFC. They had their runs, and I follow them. I try to watch every UFC fight as I can. Maybe if I don't see them, during the night, I can watch it the next couple of days, follow the news, see what happened, and so forth and so forth. I always try to keep up to date with MMA and stuff like that. Not just UFC, but other companies, like Bellator and so forth and so forth.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty pumped to see Fedor fight again. Actually, I feel like. I mean, like, to think about it, like, I think he should have stayed retired, but, like, if he wants to continue fighting, I mean, like, who the fuck's gonna stop him, right? If he still has the drive and the passion, and if he still, like, has the energy for it, then why not, right? He has his return fight against Fabio Maldonado on Friday, I believe, and it's in Russia. I don't know what promotion it's for, but, like, there's a rumor going around that, like, if Fedor, like, wins this fight, like it's gonna be official. He's gonna actually be with the fucking UFC after 10 years of like all of us like wanting to see him in the fucking UFC already.
Oh, make it happen, Dana White. Make it happen, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, of course not. Oh, that's very interesting that you would say that. Fabian Maldonado, is that his name?
Yeah, Fabio Maldonado. Like, he was pretty good. Like, remember when he found the UFC? Like, he has a few good KO victories. I think like he got cut. I think he fought Rampage. He fought Rampage. Yeah, he fought Rampage. I believe he did. I think he did.
I remember, actually, now that you brought up his name, I remember now. He actually fought, it was like Glover Teixeira.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he fought Glover Teixeira one time. I saw that fight, and he was a warrior, man. He got hit with some big bombs, and he just stood in there with Glover, and, you know, I don't know how he's still standing and functioning, because there must be a lot of brain damage getting hit like that.
Yeah, you have to have, like... So when you get hit with those little gloves, like a lot, like, you know, eventually that'll obviously take a toll on you. I'm not a doctor. I'm no dummy or any. I'm a dummy, but like, you know, that can't be healthy for you. Of course.
Of course, there are concussions and a lot of injuries associated with, you know, getting striked in the head, especially head kicks. Mm-hmm. Like there are a bunch of head kick KOs that are sick. Like for example, Machida versus, you know, Couture, where he did that karate crane kick.
Oh yeah, that was insane. I remember watching that. I stood up. I was like, ah!
I was like, holy shit, man! Like
that's crazy.
That should have taken his head off. I was like, oh my god. No disrespect to Randy Couture, but that must have hurt for sure. That must have, you know, just lights out.
That was actually, I think that was a smart move. Like right after that, it's like, you know, I'm gonna just focus on acting, making movies, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. That was a good move on his part. But you can't do that shit forever. I mean, you know, there might be an argument that there's like a glass ceiling to music too, but I don't think so, man. Like I think, like, you know, if you think you can do something still and you can do it at a high level, like I don't see why you should stop anything, right? Well, like what should stop you, right? Age should not stop you from anything except, you know, obviously like fighting and physical, like, you know, you have to be in tip-top physical shape, and of course, like, you know, over the years we just like our health gets worse naturally.
Yeah, it's just the natural thing of living life as a human, man. We go through the aging process, and I agree with you, man. Like, we all age, and to be the top level of competition, you know, to be in that top shape is very hard. You have to be consistent, training every day with, you know, the top trainers, the top, you know, training programs, and all this stuff. There's so many factors to become the top or the best of something. You want to be the best producer, the best DJ, the best fighter in the world. You know, it takes a lot of factors. Mm-hmm. And most of it is your environment and where you are in your life, and, you know, what your perception is of the world and your goals and what drives you, you know, your inspiration. And I guess for me, what inspired me the most is meeting certain artists and having them tell me their inspirations as well.
That's so awesome.
And it passes on, and I'm just like, okay, having some success and support. Support is the number one thing. Without support, I don't know where I would be, to be honest with you. Like, I have really amazing friends.
You do, man. You do.
My mom is amazing. I have an amazing family. My sister, you know, I'm very thankful for my sister, Julie. She's like a superstar. You know, she's got her own success. You know, she's very successful. As, you know, many of you may know, my sister Julie is a transgender. Mm-hmm. So she was born a male. But, you know, she recently transformed and had surgery and is now female. And, you know, she's very good looking. Like, I would say my sister is very good looking. I'm not hitting on my sister. That'd be kind of weird. But I'm not going to lie. There have been times where guys are just like, dude, your sister's so hot. And I'm just like, dude, I'm sorry to ruin it, but she was born a man. They're like, what? You know what? I don't care. You know, she's a girl now. She's no longer a guy. And, you know, she's hot. And I'm just like, oh, thank you. You know, I don't take offense to that. I'm like, I have good looks, dude. Just kidding.
Yeah,
I wish I was as good looking as my
family,
sister,
man. Runs in the family.
I guess I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure.
You know, you're actually like, you know, your sister would actually be an interesting person to talk to on this podcast.
Dude, I'm sure I would talk to her for sure. I'll let her know about this podcast. I'm sure she'd be very, very interested. She's, you know, a little busy traveling. Of course, I rarely get to see her. She's traveling, doing interviews here and there, and, you know, she has a YouTube.
Yeah, very successful YouTube channel. Like, in fact, like way before I knew you, like my girlfriend June. Hi, honey, I love you. Right? Like my girlfriend, like, you know, she's a big fan of her videos. So like when you and I started hanging out and I'm like, yo, hun, that YouTuber that you like, I'm friends with her brother. And she's like, what? You're hanging out with Julie Vu's brother? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, you know, it's a cool guy. Really cool family. Right? Because, like, I think, like, a reason why that she would be an interesting person to talk to in this podcast, because, like, there's a lot of, like, you know, with a lot of the crazy shit that's going on in the world today, like, there's still a lot of ignorant ass motherfuckers that, like, are not understanding of, you know, issues like this, you know? And, like, you know, even, like, for someone like myself, like, you know, it would just be a good education, you know? Like, to talk to someone like that and to get their point of view. Plus, like, she's told us crazy stories. Like, you remember when, I can't remember what show we were going to, but, like, you know, apparently, like, she was, like, on an ISIS hit list or some shit.
Yeah, man, that shit was crazy. I don't really remember the details about that, but apparently some ISIS
Fuck ISIS. Fuck you motherfuckers. Come at me, bro.
Very, very evil. Very evil. Please don't kill me.
No.
I want to live. I want to hide under this table.
But that's fucked, man. Like, out of all the people in the world, they pick a YouTuber.
I have no idea why they would pick my sister. I mean, yeah, she represents a movement. She represents the transgender movement. Maybe they're against, you know, transgender or, you know, homosexuality or something that's different from the norm, you know? And I have no idea how they targeted my sister or found out, but apparently some guy, she showed me the message, some guy messaged her and was just like, death to you, you know, I will find you, I will conduct a terrorist attack in your city, I will find you, Julie, I will kill you, or whatever. And she told the police. The government got involved, maybe, I don't know. FBI, CIA, I don't
That's
know.
That's unreal shit,
her.
man. That's like
they
some
try to
movie
investigate.
That's some movie stuff. I don't know. They're probably just jealous because your sister knows how to do makeup better than they do. I don't know.
She is very good at makeup, and I personally don't wear makeup, but I can see why all the girls, you know, get crazy over Julie Vu, Princess Jules. They're just like, oh my god, I gotta watch her makeup tutorials. You know, like, you know, she's very good at buying product and using it effectively, such as like MAC brushes and Sephora brushes, and I think she used to work for one of them. I'm not too sure, but
yeah, my girlfriend knows all about that shit. She knows how like legit it is.
Dude,
like,
trust me, it's a big industry. Girls go crazy for makeup. Makeup is a very lucrative business. Lucrative.
I love how you use that word. It is lucrative.
It is. It's good money, and you know what? Like, she bought a lot of tools and brushes and makeup, and she used it on herself and kind of promotes it in a way on the side. So I guess, you know, she gets support from them, and, you know, all the girls, you know, they use on themselves. And I could see, you know, local girls say, hey, I know you. They don't say, hey, you're Jimmy Vu. Sometimes they're just like, hey, you're Julie Vu's brother. Sorry.
You get that?
Yeah, I get that. You know, sometimes I'll just be like, hi, I'm Jimmy Vu, and they'll just be like, oh, hi. And then I'll be like, yeah, do you know my sister Julie Vu? They're like, oh my god, you're Julie Vu's brother? You know, and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, you know, and conversation usually starts good from there. And they're just like, what's your sister up to nowadays? And I'm just like, oh, I don't really know. She's kind of busy, you know, I don't really see her, which is the truth, you know. She's doing her own thing, and I'm very, very proud of Julie. She's doing very good. And, you know, sometimes I wish I could be that successful, but I'm successful in my own way. You know what I mean? She's successful.
Yeah, you gotta pave your own way, man. Yeah. Like, and there's no better way to be successful than do it on your own.
Yeah.
Right. Rather than having it easily given to you, or handed out. Right. And you appreciate it more. Right.
I agree with you. It's good to have, you know, talent in the family. It makes you feel good. And the thing that makes me happy and puts a smile on my face is that, you know, our mom must be proud. Our mom and our family must be proud, and just like, okay, well, I got a son who's, you know, DJing, and I've got a daughter who's, you know, traveling the world and talking to people and represents a movement. That's pretty cool. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what my mom thinks. I would have to, you know, ask her. She'd just be like, my mom's pretty modest sometimes. You know, she's just like, oh, you know, I'm very.
Your mom's also an amazing cook.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to like this guy's house. We've had like, what have we ate? We've had spaghetti. We've had like, I don't know. Did we have like chicken or steak or something like that?
A lot of stuff. She makes like white food, Asian food.
I gotta come to your house when you guys make pho or something.
Oh my god, pho is another story, man. Best pho ever, hands down. I'm not just saying that. My mom makes amazing pho, man. Like breakfast, lunch, dinner. I would dig it.
Nice.
I love pho day. It's not like pho day. It's pho weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm just like, okay, pho until I get sick of it. It's hard to get sick of pho, but I eventually get sick of it because I eat so much of it. I'm just like, okay, breakfast, lunch, dinner, pho. My mom makes it, and she also makes good chow mein, spring rolls, udon, curry, beef stew, so forth. And
I'm on a fucking diet, but the camera caught me eating a few chips, right? But I'm not eating the whole bag. I swear. But oh man, your mom's food sounds so good.
Yeah.
But I asked my good friend Jay Figura like this yesterday because like he's involved in the nightlife scene as well.
Right.
So I'm gonna ask you this question,
What's up?
like because you're heavy into the events and everything. What are some of the craziest things you've ever seen? In an event.
Craziest things I've seen?
Yeah. What are some of the craziest stories or things you've ever seen?
There's some good stories. There's some bad stories. Mostly some craziest stuff I've seen are people dressed weird. Some people dress weirdly. Like there would be people dressed up in almost naked. Girls almost dressed up naked, guys almost dressed up naked.
That's like, but the thing is like that's not completely weird because that's the norm in the rave scene. You're
Yeah.
almost like you expect to see like girls wearing like nothing but tape on their titties and like guys that wear like nothing but a sock on their dongs. That's the norm. But like I'm talking like you ever seen like weird like fights go down? Anything disgusting? I don't know.
I've seen poop.
Oh yeah.
I've seen or heard stories of poop on the dance floor, poop in the washroom floor, poop in the urinals. just poop, man. Just like fucked up shit. Literally, just fucked up shit. I've also seen people overdose. People die, come back to life.
Yeah.
That shit's fucked, man. But the reality is, it happens every event. There are some people who take too much substance or take unsafe substance that aren't tested. And they don't even know how to handle it. Like for example, we have some events where the younger crowd take substances or mix with alcohol or so forth, and they regret it. They wake up and they're in the hospital. And the reality of that is it happens, and we always got to deal with it. We always got to be professional with it. As a DJ, as part of the staff in the club, for example, it happens to everyone, whether you're old, young. It happens to everyone, and the important thing is to educate people about what they're taking, what not to mix, what to mix, and if you are taking it, just make sure you have it tested and take small amounts of it. I'm not against drugs, but I'm not promoting drugs.
Yeah,
it's inevitable. People will take drugs at events. We can't prevent it. No matter how much security we have, no matter what we say or the consequences of drugs, it happens at every single festival, Ryan. We have like the big festivals like EDC or DEF CON or Climax or Tomorrow World, so forth. You have people who overdose. You have people who die, and it's sad, And obviously, some festivals are looking positive, and when I say positive, like take for example Shambhala. Shambhala is an annual festival here in BC. It's awesome. Everyone talks well about it. I've never been to Shambhala before.
Same. I haven't been yet.
But I want to go. It sounds fucking awesome. It sounds like an outdoor exploration. And I have friends who talk about it. I have friends who are involved in it, DJing it, work security. And all I gotta say is they tell me stories about this particular station or stations that they have where you could come and test your product, test your drugs without any consequences. And I think that's awesome, man. I think that's very safe. Like, I wonder what's in this powder or what's in this pill. And you go up to these people and be like, hi, I just want to test it, see how it is. And they have a testing kit and they test it and they tell you straight up what it is. And you decide whether or not you want to take it, because ultimately it's up to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that saves lives.
I fully agree with that. The one issue that is preventing it from happening in our city or like in other major cities like in North America is it's municipal laws and different provincial or state laws like that prevent this. Just having like a drug testing kit alone, like that's still frowned upon by law enforcement, which is bullshit. Yeah. Right? If you're going to partake in some sort of substance, I'm not promoting it or condoning it at all. Course. Why shouldn't you be able to? But I don't know.
I see where you're getting at. I think that's weird how law enforcement has a drug testing kit to incriminate you. but we, the people, the users, whatever, you know, can't have the testing kit, or it's frowned upon, or it's like they automatically assume you're guilty if you have a drug testing kit. But you know what? It saves lives.
Yeah, like
it could potentially save lives. So why frown upon it, right? Why not be more open about it? You know what I mean?
Well, it's one of those things. Like North America, like is like a lot less progressive compared to places like Europe. Yeah. Like that's why in places like Holland or Germany or whatever, like, you know, you can have testing kits, and they even, like, I don't know, you see it in the rave news all the time. There's always like warnings, as like, you know, warnings of bad batches that are going around, and, you know, telling people to like be careful out there, right? We don't have those kind of systems because, like, here in North America, our systems right now are in place where you just zero tolerance, don't fucking do it, you know. And, you know, that works, but it's the same like thing when you think about like trying, like back in the day when they used to tell people not to have sex. It's like if you didn't want to get pregnant, don't have any fucking sex, right? But like in reality, it's wrong. Like, you know, you should be able to be educated on sexual education. You should know the consequences, you know, if you partake in such an activity, and you should have access to things that keep you safe and not pregnant, like condoms and birth control pills and things like that. Right. And it's the same thing with drugs. Like, I mean, like, you know, again, I'm a fat dummy. I don't know shit. I just have an opinion.
Yeah.
But like, it should be the same thing with drugs, man. Like, if it's like that thing, like when your parents used to say, "Oh, don't do that, Jimmy. You know, don't go over there. Don't drink this. Don't eat that, or whatever." Don't fucking do it anyway.
Yeah. If you tell someone not to do something, the reaction is they're gonna do it. They're gonna see what it is like to have just a little taste.
Yeah. So like, you know, whether you partake or not, like you should have that right to like be able to like make sure you're okay. But again, we don't make the rules or anything like that. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, actually, now that you brought it up, there actually have been studies done. I've read up a few research where some places in the world, they legalize, or not legalize, but decriminalize the use of drugs or possession of it in a certain amount. Mm-hmm. And it's actually proven to reduce rate of death, rate of crime, rate of, you know, so forth and so forth. And I think that's a very interesting thing to look at, you know, the statistics of it. And I think North America should follow, you know. Like, for example, some places, they incriminate you for small possessions of whatever drugs, whether it be marijuana. And I think, well, marijuana is just a plant, you know. Yeah. I've tried marijuana before. It's harmless. You know, I don't really do it no more. I rarely smoke weed. Rarely, man. Like, I only...
Really? For being honest?
I'm being 100% honest, man. I used to... Actually, in high school, I used to be a big stoner, man. I had my phase with marijuana, and now I'm just like, you know what? It's not for me anymore. I kind of grew out of it. Okay. You know, I like being sober. I like being focused. You know, I like being clear-minded. Nothing against stoners. I have friends who are stoners.
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
Nothing against it. I mean,
we live in BC.
Yeah, it smells good. I love the smell of it. I love it burning. I love seeing people roll up joints and smoking it, and it's part of our culture. And I have nothing against it, and I think it's a fantastic medicine, if not the best medicine. And there's research coming out every single year about it. You know, like it killing cancer cells and stuff like that. And we should look into it. You know, like, why should we prohibit a fucking plant? You know, like, if God made this plant for us, why not use it? Why prohibit nature? We're prohibiting nature, right? It's just whatever, you know.
You're just kind of like delaying the inevitable. I don't know, right? I don't have any problems with marijuana at all. No. Like, in fact, like it's very commonplace, and like, you know, who knows? Maybe eventually it will be legal. Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, we're getting there with the introduction of government here in Canada. You know, the legalization process is slowly coming along, but it's moving slowly. But, you know, people are getting more accepted of cannabis and so forth. Mm-hmm. I think it's cool, man. Like, I have nothing against people who smoke weed. Just, you know, like I said, like, use it like responsibly. Yeah. Don't use it when you're driving.
It's like that. It's like that with anything. Like, you know, just you have to, like, limits do exist. Like, moderation. You know, in moderation. Whether that be alcohol, whether that be marijuana, whether that be fucking potato chips or cheeseburgers, right? Pizza. Like, or pizza. Like, I can eat like all the pizza in the world, and like I'll just get fatter and fatter, and eventually I will die. Yeah. Right? Like, it's if you do too much of almost anything, you will die. That's pretty harsh.
Yeah, I mean that is the truth. If you do too much of anything, you will die.
Yeah.
If you have too much sex, your dick will fall off.
Is that possible?
Maybe I should
we need to look that up.
Is this thing still on?
That thing is still on. If you have too much sex, your dick will fall off.
Oh, wow.
All right, well, Jimmy, we're running a little bit low on time, my friend. Now's the time, brother. Plug your events coming up. Plug your social media, SoundCloud, whatever you got. Go ahead.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram if you guys like JimmyVoo28. Follow me on Snapchat, JimmyVoo28. My Snapchat's kind of boring here and there. It's mostly me in the studio working on music. On weekends, I do get a little ratchet.
Yeah, you do.
Do I? Oh,
it's okay. I like the ratchetness. That's part of your appeal, brother. Like I love it. It's cool.
I like to have an innocent side, and it feels. Sometimes it feels good to be bad, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
My Twitter, Jimmy Vu Luong. Follow me on Facebook. Feel free to talk to me anytime, guys. I love to talk to people.
What about your music, man? Where can people hear your music?
Oh, SoundCloud.com. Search me up, Jimmy Vu. Only one Jimmy Vu from Vancouver. I'm constantly working on new music, and I have a couple of releases coming up. Like the one I have with Elijah Payne.
Nice.
The house track. I have a collab with Riley V in the works. I have a hard dance original coming out. It's gonna have some acid in it, like acid sounds, and a little bit of reverb space.
I fuck with the reverse space. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, before we close up the show, I need to remind you people once again that this Friday, Umit Ozcan will be at Harbor Event Center.
Yes.
Hit me up for tickets as usual. And what else we got? Oh yeah, Saturday we also I'm doing a double header again. BFL 44 live from the Hard Rock Casino. I will be there. That shit will be live on online pay-per-view. And I'll be going straight to Harbor after the fights for WW. You'll be there. You'll be there, right?
I will be there. I will be at both shows.
Awesome.
And Solid Events represent.
Yeah, this guy's like a good promoter as well.
Yeah,
well, thanks again, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
See you guys.
Peace.